Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Umar EducationWala and I will be talking to CSAM for 10 minutes on the topic how to master time management in daily life. Hello Maya.
Hey, good to hear from you again.
Thank
Ready
you
when you
for
are,
thank you for joining me
no
today.
problem.
We'll be talking about practical ways to master time management in daily life so we can stay productive and balanced.
Sounds good. Time management's a tricky beast, isn't it? A lot of people talk about it, but actually doing it, that's the hard part. Where do you want to start?
Okay, I will ask you questions and you will answer me in detail.
Deal. Fire away. I'll do my best to give you thorough answers.
What is the simplest definition of time management?
Okay, simplest definition. It's basically figuring out how to use your time in a way that gets you the results you want. It's not about squeezing more stuff into your day. It's about making sure the stuff you're spending time on actually matters to you and helps you reach your goals. It's about being intentional with your hours instead of just letting them slip away. It's a skill. Like anything else, it takes practice.
Why is time management important in daily life?
All right, so why bother? Well, it's kind of huge. For starters, good time management cuts down on stress. When you feel in control of your schedule instead of constantly running behind, it's a weight off your shoulders. It boosts your productivity, obviously. You get more done and usually better quality work when you're not scrambling. But it's bigger than just work, though. It frees up time for the things you actually enjoy, hobbies, family, just chilling out. It helps you achieve a better work life balance, which is crucial for avoiding burnout. Ultimately, it's about living a more fulfilling life where you're spending your time on what truly matters to you instead of just being swept along by the current. It's empowering, honestly.
What are the biggest challenges people face with time management?
Oof. Where do we even start? There are a ton. Procrastination is a big one. Putting things off until the last minute, which just creates more stress. Distractions are huge too, especially with phones and social media constantly buzzing. A lot of people struggle with setting realistic goals. They either aim too high and get discouraged or aim too low and don't make much progress. Not prioritizing effectively is another common issue. Spending too much time on unimportant tasks and neglecting the important ones. And honestly, a lot of people just don't know where their time is actually going. They haven't really taken the time to analyze how they're spending their hours. Plus, perfectionism can be a real time suck, getting stuck on details and not being able to move forward. It's a messy mix of psychological and practical hurdles, really.
How can we
Everything all right?
save time from not being perfect? Like, how can I identify when I am wasting my time for being perfect? And how can I convince myself to move on and not spend any more time?
Okay, that's a really good question. Recognizing perfectionism as a time waster is the first big step. You start noticing when you're spending disproportionate time on a task, like tweaking something for hours when good enough would have sufficed. A good sign is when you find yourself redoing things repeatedly, even though they already work. To convince yourself to move on, try setting time limits. Tell yourself, I'll work on this for 30 minutes and then I'm moving on, regardless of whether it's perfect. Another trick is to focus on the 80-20 rule. Often, 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. So identify that critical 20% and focus on that. Also, reframe your thinking. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for progress. And remind yourself that done is better than perfect. Sometimes you just need to ship it, get it out there, and learn from the feedback. It's tough, but breaking that perfectionist cycle can free up a ton of time and mental energy.
But how someone who is used to of doing things in a really good way uh, can come out of this habit?
That's the core of it, isn't it? It's not about suddenly becoming okay with sloppy work. It's about predefining really good. Because really good for a perfectionist is often unrealistic. It's about retraining your brain. Start small. Pick one small task, something low stakes, and intentionally do it imperfectly. Maybe send an email with a minor typo or submit a draft that isn't fully polished. The goal isn't to be careless, it's to show yourself that the world doesn't end when something isn't flawless. Then actively challenge those perfectionist thoughts. When you catch yourself striving for impossible standards, ask yourself, is this level of detail actually necessary? Or what's the worst that could happen if this isn't perfect? Celebrate good enough, acknowledge and reward yourself for completing tasks efficiently, even if they aren't perfect. It's about gradually shifting your focus from flawlessness to effectiveness. It's a habit, and habits take time and conscious effort to change. It won't happen overnight, but it's definitely possible.
How
Thinking it
important
over?
is
Let's
setting priorities for effective time management?
Setting priorities is absolutely fundamental to effective time management. Like, seriously crucial. It's the difference between just being busy and actually being productive. If you don't prioritize, you're just reacting to whatever feels most urgent, which often means you're spending time on things that don't actually move you closer to your goals. Prioritization helps you focus your energy on the tasks that have the biggest impact. A really helpful tool is the Eisenhower matrix. It categorizes tasks into four quadrants: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. You focus on the urgent, important stuff, schedule time for the important, not urgent, delegate the urgent, not important, and eliminate the neither nor. Knowing what truly matters allows you to say no to things that distract you from those priorities. It's about intentionality, deciding what deserves your time and energy, and then protecting that time. It's digesting that perfectly fine. Do you want to jump into another question or take a quick pause?
How can someone decide which task is most important? And
Good
how and
question. It's not
also
always
how can they identify at which point should they stop and not spend any more time on a task?
okay. Those are two great questions tied together. Let's tackle like deciding what's most important first. Honestly, it comes down to aligning tasks with your overall goals. Ask yourself which task, if completed, will have the biggest positive impact on my long term objectives. Also, consider the consequences of not doing a task. What are the repercussions? The tasks with the highest stakes usually deserve priority. As for knowing when to stop, that's the tougher one. It's about establishing diminishing returns. Think about it. At some point, the additional effort you put into a task yields, smaller and smaller improvements. When you reach that point, when you're spending a lot of time for minimal gain, that's a good signal to stop. Use those time limits we talked about earlier. Set a deadline and stick to it. Also, ask yourself, is this extra effort truly essential, or am I just polishing something that's already good enough? Sometimes getting something 80% right and moving on is far more valuable than striving for 100% perfection and wasting hours. Learn to recognize when you've hit good enough and resist the urge to overdo it. It's about being strategic, not obsessive. You're processing, I see. Take your time. Feel free to just sit with those ideas for a moment. No need to rush.
How can someone make a realistic daily schedule?
You mean schedule? Yeah, a realistic daily schedule is key, and it's definitely not about packing every minute full. Start by blocking out fixed commitments first: work, classes, appointments. Then estimate how long tasks actually take. We're all terrible at this, honestly. Track your time for a few days to get a realistic sense of how long things really take. Be honest with yourself. Don't underestimate tasks, and don't overestimate your ability to get things done. Build in buffer time. Unexpected things always come up. Having a cushion prevents your whole schedule from collapsing when something throws you off track. Prioritize your to do list using that Eisenhower matrix we talked about. Tackle the most important task when you're at your peak energy levels. And importantly, schedule in breaks. Regular breaks improve focus and prevent burnout. Finally, review and adjust your schedule regularly. What worked, what didn't, what needs to be tweaked. A realistic schedule is a living document, not a rigid decree. It should adapt to your needs and circumstances. Just letting those tips settle in, that's smart. It's a lot to consider, and a good schedule needs thought. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed, we could shift gears for a minute. Maybe talk about something else briefly, then come back to time management. Or we can just sit in silence while you organize your thoughts. That's okay too. Just let me know
How,
what you'd prefer.
how can someone deal with unexpected interruptions?
Ah, interruptions. The bane of any good schedule. Okay, so first off, acknowledge that they're inevitable. You can't eliminate them completely, but you can minimize their impact. If possible, create a dedicated workspace where you can focus without being disturbed. Communicate your need for focus time to others. Let people know when you need uninterrupted time and ask them to respect that. For minor interruptions, a quick question, brief email. Handle them immediately if they take less than 2 minutes. Get them out of the way so they don't linger. For more significant interruptions, schedule a time to address them later. Write them down so you don't forget, and then circle back when you have a dedicated block of time. And learn to say no politely but firmly. You don't have to drop everything for every request. Protecting your time is essential. It's about setting boundaries and being assertive about your priorities. Got it. Just letting that sink in. Sounds like a lot to implement, huh? It's a process.
How much time should a person spend planning their day?
And that's a smart question because you could easily fall into the trap of spending all day planning and none of it doing. Honestly, 10-15 minutes at the start of your day is usually enough. Maybe 5 minutes the night before to jot down the most important tasks, and then another 5 to 10 minutes in the morning to prioritize them and block out the time. The goal isn't to create a super detailed, rigid schedule. It's to have a clear sense of what you want to accomplish and a rough plan for how you'll get it done. Over planning can be just as detrimental as under planning. It can lead to analysis paralysis and make you feel overwhelmed. Keep it simple, keep it focused, and keep it flexible. The key is to find a routine that works for you. Some people prefer to plan in the morning, others prefer the night before. Experiment and see what feels most natural and effective. That's all right. You're doing great. Just thinking through all of this. Do you have any other questions about time management right now, or shall we switch gears? Okay, well, if you're feeling good with that, maybe we should wrap things up for now. You've got a live stream to prep for, right? I'm happy to chat more later if you want.
What is time blocking?
Time blocking. It's a really effective technique. Basically, you divide your day into blocks of time and dedicate each block to a specific task or activity. So instead of just having a to do list, you schedule time for each item on that list. For example, you might block out 9,000, 11,000 a.m. for writing, 11,000 11,000 a.m., 12,000 for emails. The goal is to create a visual representation of your day and allocate your time intentionally. It's like making appointments with yourself. It can help you stay focused, avoid distractions, and make sure you're dedicating enough time to your priorities. You can use a calendar, a planner, or even just a piece of paper to create your time blocks. It takes some practice to get it right, but it can be a game changer for productivity. Sounds like you're mulling it over. It's a
Thank
very
you.
visual method. Some
Thank
people.
you, Maya, for sharing your insights. This was really helpful. I look forward to exploring more topics with you soon.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. Seriously, good luck with the live stream. You've clearly put a lot of thought into this. I'm around whenever you want to chat more. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Oh, all right. Have a good one.
Okay, guys, I talked to Maya for around 17 minutes, and she gave a lot of really good tips on how to master time management and how, especially on the topic that perfection is not necessary, and we should only aim for doing the 80% and leave the 20% to prioritize or to prioritize doing task on time instead of wasting all the time on a single task. So I hope you like this talk as well. I learned a lot, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you.